All right, well, it's about time to start. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. My name is Franklin. I'm the Product App Specialist for KISP and your webinar host. This is where you need to be every Wednesday to learn those tips and tricks you need to know to becoming that supercharged power user. So before we start, if you have any questions, submit them in the chat box, just located on the GoToWebinar control panel on the right side of your screen. And what we'll do is we'll be taking a few minutes at the end of the webinar to answer each of them. Okay? Now, just as a reminder, we are adding a new free training day, December 14th, okay? So by popular demand, it seems that they do want to run this session on a monthly rotation. So we'll be continuing December 14th, allowing November with Thanksgiving coming and just finishing Halloween here and rolling into the holidays. It's going to get quite hectic. So we'll be resuming December 14th. So be sure to check out our Knowledge Center and look out for the emails to registering for our free training day. All right. Now, with that being said, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be covering everything that you need to know about using the behavior and project feature. So we'll be looking at the three options here that we have, such as the quantity combined, the visibility, as well as the include in project quick sheet, and how you could use it when you're creating your scene. All right. So without further ado, and one last thing, don't forget that we do record all our webinars. Now, we had quite a few questions come in regarding this, and we had quite a few users asking us where they can find this. You can find all our past webinars by visiting our Knowledge Center, as well as visiting our YouTube channel. You could subscribe to it, so every time we upload a new video, you'll be notified. However, you could always check back in the Knowledge Center again to see all our videos, past videos, and other special webinars that we run. Okay. All righty. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and open up the KISP mobile app, and I'm going to be continuing off the last project that we created. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. All right. So for those of you that are new to KISP, Behavior and Project is a feature that we added that will allow you to make some key changes to the items that are in your scene. Now, each scene is given basically what we call as a behavior. And in those behaviors, I'm just going to randomly open something here. You have the options to actually go through here. Most of them reflect the actual graphic, but they also can affect your estimations. So I'm going to show you how we use it variously through the projects that we create. And first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with the first option. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set my meeting table. Let's go into plan view. We're going to just set it in place somewhere around here. Okay. I'm going to move the entire set that we've created, and I'm just going to move it towards the middle. Okay. And again, let's tap on that meeting table, and let's just move it right over here. Now, we like these chairs so much, what we want to do is we want to continue using these chairs. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on it, and then I'm going to create a duplicate. And we're just going to set it like so. Now, as you're aware, if I were to make a change here, let's say I want to do a color change on the fabric, we go ahead and select one. Let's go ahead and select the gray. And then tap on done. You can see actually, oh, let me just do that. Sorry, one more time here. It looks like the behavior was actually changing this one. Okay, let's go back. And what we want to do is remove that and go ahead and change the behavior. Okay, so again, we're going to duplicate this. We're going to bring it back over here. And then we're going to do the upholstery change. And once I do that to the one chair, you can see what it actually does is it applies it to any chair that falls on the same line. But so what is this line? If we go to our parts list by tapping on the list view, let's go ahead and find seating here. You can see on this line, any item that appears in this line and any change you make to any of the items in this line makes a change to all. So that's the behavior and project, okay? As well as you can see at the very top here, we have let's see here, about 12 other chairs that are currently invisible, okay? So let's actually turn those back on. All right, so we have 12 chairs here. We have those 2 gray chairs. I am just gonna make sure that we ungroup one of them here. I want to move these chairs out of the way. We're going to keep them because we're going to have to include these chairs in the estimation. So you can see I'm just going to leave them out on the side here, and then we're going to continue on with the behavior of these 2 chairs. So the idea is that we want to continue using this chair. However, we want to make sure that we select a different fabric. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back to a red. Okay. So you can see, again, we have the 2 red chairs. Every time I make a change to one of these 2 chairs, because they fall in the same line, the option actually gets applied to both. What we want to do is we want to be able to take the same chair and apply a different fabric for the meeting tables. So I'm going to double tap on this chair here. I'm going to tap back into the behavior and project. And what I want to do is I want to keep this one separate. Once I do that, I'm going to go up and tap on options. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap on the fabric option, and we're going to go ahead and change that back to that gray. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and tap on done. And as you can see here, what it actually does is it allows me to create a new line indicating the new fabric on the chair. If I go to my list view, you can now see I have the 2 chairs right over here. Okay. Now it looks like we also have a price change here. I want to make sure that we revert this back. Okay. And again, we're going to make sure that this gets reverted back. Perfect. Okay, so we got the 2 different chairs. I want to continue on with adding 3 more chairs around this meeting table. But before I do that, I'm going to go back into the gray chairs behavior and project. And this time, I'm going to make sure I select combine all of this into one line. And the reason being is because once I create a duplicate of it, instead of it, again, creating a new line, what it's now going to do is it's going to include that in the same line of the same upholstery. Okay, so we're going to continue on creating the duplicate. And I'm going to go into plan view. And let's quickly adjust this. Okay. And there we go. So once we go back into the list view, you can now see, even though we have actually 3 of the same chairs, each one seems to have a different behavior. As you can see, this one over here has the gray upholstery, this has the darker red upholstery, and this also has the lighter red upholstery. All right. All right, so we've taken care of the first behavior and project. Now what we want to do is we want to look at what the second option is. Oh, let me just close that, which is visibility. All right, so let's go back to these 12 bright red chairs here. Now, even though we're creating a layout for a particular part in the project, this may not be the only thing that we have to actually specify for our clients. The clients may request, that they need, additional meeting chairs, whatever it is. So in this case, we're going to assume that we needed these extra chairs here for other areas within the actual office. Even though they don't need to be part of the rendering, they do need to be part of the estimation. So what we can actually do is we can double tap on one of these chairs. And again, let me just take you back to the list view. Because they belong all in one line, again, remember, once I make a change to one of them, it applies that change to all of them. So let's go ahead and go back to the behavior and project. This time what I want to do is I want to hide these chairs. Okay, so I've now selected that option. I do know that they're hidden because if I look at the top of the chair here, I can see that I have a new graphic of an eye indicating that the graphic has been turned off. Let's go back to 3D view, and you can see the chairs have been removed from the actual graphic. However, if I go back to the actual list view, I can see that the pricing still remains. Okay, so that's a way for you to include any additional items that you need to include in your estimation without having to create a new estimation. You can create one project file. This way, if there are points there that the client can save by the bulk order, you can certainly include that and indicate all the correct pricing in the estimation that you need to provide them. All right. All right, so let's look at the third option. And the third option for the behavior project is including this item in the project quick sheet. So any item by default automatically gets included to the estimation that you can create. Now, there are times where you may want to omit some kind of pricing. Maybe it's a suggestion that you want to make regarding the layout that you're creating. It could be a chair. It could be whatever it is. In this case, what I want to show the client here is we're going to say that this particular chair here is an existing chair that's going to be utilized for the actual project. However, what I want to do is I want to keep this chair. I want to keep this chair so that the client can actually see what the overall image or vision is going to look like. All right. So we're going to go ahead and first duplicate two more. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those over here and we're going to create some guest seating. So again, these are two chairs or three chairs that are existing in the office space. They like them so much, we're using them for the meeting tables, just with a different upholstery, as well as the guest chairs, as you can see here. Okay, and again, if I go to my list view, I have my 12 chairs that are currently hidden. However, the pricing still remains. I have my 3 new red chairs. These are existing chairs. And then I have my gray chairs. What I want to do is I want to change this behavior so then I can actually strike off the actual pricing from these 3 chairs as they are already in the client's office space. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap into the line here. We're going to go back into behavior and project. This time for the very last option, what I want to do is I want to tap on do not include in project quick sheet. Let's go ahead and do that. Once I do it, you could automatically see the change it's made. It's now struck out the actual pricing and removed these 3 chairs from the overall pricing of our project. All right. Now, even though if I go to 3D view, the graphic still remains. All right. So now that we've completed our quick little layout, we've made the changes that we want to do. I'm going to go ahead and make further changes just so that we can go ahead and render. And let me go into these ones here. We're going to change that. We're going to change the credenzas. You can go and specify whatever you need to specify there. And let's do the last one. Gray again. Close that. And let's make a change to these ones here. Now, the reason why I'm not doing a replace all is because, as you know, if I tapped on replace all, let's just do it here, it will make a change to all my items. I just want to affect only a few of them. All right, so there we are. We have our little changes done to our scene. I'm quite satisfied with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to position it for that awesome rendering. And as I always mention, best thing to do is place it in a view or a perspective that's natural, that a client can actually look like. Basically the perspective of how a person would look at an actual space. And then when you're satisfied with what you're allowing your client to see, you can go ahead and tap on HD render. If you're client facing, you're going to want to use the first option, which is the good rendering. It still creates a high definition image. However, what it does is it does a speedy rendering, so it doesn't bog up too much of your time. If you want to include that best rendering, you do need the time to do so. It normally will take anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, really depending on the intricacy of your project. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and export that to my photo library, and then we can go ahead and do another set of renderings. Okay. And then I like to do one more, and that's providing my client with a nice floor plan. Even though there's no dimensions, the idea is they can actually see what the space plan is about. If you need to use, if you need to actually include any kind of space requirements, what you can do is you can utilize the floor grid that we provide, because each square of that floor grid equals 1 full square foot. All right. So once that's done, again, we're going to save that to the photo library. And then I'm going to go back into plan view. And this time I'm going to pick a line drawing to create that floor plan. Perfect. If I now go to my estimation, here we're going to create a project quick sheet. Here's the PDF that it creates. And then you get all the listed items, including the chairs. You can see here, I still have that chair, the 12 of them that are hidden from my actual scene. Pricing still remains. And what you don't see is the other red chair, the task chair as well as the guest chairs, because they've been omitted from the actual estimation and are not included in the final pricing. All right, so let's go ahead and assign a project name. We're going to say this is the KiSP office. Then we're going to go ahead and select one of those wonderful renderings. That's what it looks like. Here you can see we can add list pricing. I'm not going to do anything right now. That's for another webinar. However, I can add a custom cell line item, and that is going to be shipping and handling. Let's tap into that box. We're going to say it's going to be $500. Here you can see the added price or charge being included. I can add some notes. Here is your revised quote, or let's say revised estimation. And then I can choose what I want my client to see. We can definitely protect our bid by turning off the details so that the client just gets this one sheet. Or we can slowly show them what we want to show them. Here you can actually show them all the items basically listed. If we want, we can add those options and finishes. We can also add images via the thumbnails and any discounting if it's been provided. Okay, it's up to you. What you want to do is you want to actually play with it, see what you want to do to create that awesome quote or estimation for your client. We want to close that sale. So start using this feature and play around with it. If you have any other questions, you can certainly enter them in the chat box right now. Or what you can do is you can always or you can always contact our KIT support line. Okay, and that's pretty much it, everyone. We've now looked at the behavior and project feature and how it can actually help you complete your scene. So let's go to see if there's any questions. Okay, and I do have a question here. It's how do I get a custom fabric into kits? Funny enough, this was a question that was asked, I believe, the last either the last free training session we had or the last webinar we had. Unfortunately, you cannot include any custom fabric or any custom JPEG image of a swatch. The way these actual swatches work is very technical, and they need to be repeated perfectly in order to create what we like to say is a nice texture or textured swatch on the actual model itself. It is something that we've thought about and have been sort of tinkering with to have it included in maybe a future build of kits. But right now, the option of including a JPEG or swatch is just not available at this moment. Okay. And we do have another one. So how do I sign up for the free training? The free training, again, as I mentioned before, will be sent out in some emails coming up if it hasn't been already sent out by our marketing team. However, if you want to register today, you can simply go to our Knowledge Center, and you can just go into the Webinars tab and tap on Register, and you'll be given the registration form, which you can just fill out, and we'll get notified of your registration. Okay, it seems like those are the last questions there. So we can definitely conclude this was a quick webinar to really showing you what the behavior and project feature can actually do for you. So go ahead and start playing with that. If you have any questions about it, you can always contact our support team. Here we have the support team listed on the screen. You can email them or contact them. You can contact myself. Even sales are out there willing to help you out. Also, be sure to check out all our social media. You can find us in LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as subscribe to our Facebook page and our Twitter if you do have a Twitter feed. All right? So that's it for today, folks. I do appreciate you guys participating. The community has supported us for the last 2 years, which is absolutely fabulous. So we're so happy to be bringing you these webinars that help you with your learning curve and using kits. Don't forget, we're also looking for your submissions to becoming our next kits collaborator. What you'd have to do is just contact us with a comment about kits, a selfie preferably with your kits project in it, and what we'll do is we'll showcase your project for a month on our Knowledge Center. Okay, this is a great way for you to show all the users out there how you utilize kits based on the projects that you work on. Great inspiration. You can check out our Knowledge Center for all our past collaborators and read their stories. So do that, and what we'll do is we'll reward you with the $25 Starbucks e-gift card. Okay, it's really that easy, and we're looking for submissions at all levels. All right. Again, don't forget to sign up for our next free basic training webinar. That is going to be on December 14th. It will be the last webinar for this year, and then we'll be looking at a schedule for 2018. I can't believe I'm saying 2018. It's really that close. All right, thanks again for joining me. Be sure to visit our Knowledge Center, and be sure to check out and look out for any announcements that we have regarding kits. All right, that's it for today, folks. Thanks again for attending today's webinar, and I hope to see you back right here next week for Webinar Wednesday.